This program was made possible in part by the continuing contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.
Little dance move, little sidestep, and that's the Tayler Hill that we've known for the last couple years.
Jones reaches in, gets the rebound, but Tayler can't get the short-range shot. Buford with the rebound, and she cleans up the mess. Taisha Smith drives, uses the backboard to sink one. Central will go to the free throw line from here on out. Tayler with the right-handed layup.
Keystone Productions proudly presents the Twin Cities Championship for high school girls basketball. Welcome to South High School, everyone, as we begin our next chapter in one of the biggest rivalries in the state, featuring the St. Paul Central Minutemen, champions of the St. Paul City Conference, and the Minneapolis South Tigers, champions of the Minneapolis City Conference. The rivalry of ages will start shortly. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Peden. Glad you can be with us as we wrap up our regular season today with the biggest rivalry in the state. I'm joined by basketball aficionado Tracy Buford. Tracy, there's a lot of stories coming into today's game, from the discrepancy to Taylor's college selection and just a lot of things going on. Tayler Hill needs 29 points to officially end any controversy about who the record holder is. She put up 38 points against Southwest on Thursday. You look at her stat sheet, you got to think she wants that record for good.
Yeah, you know, her record is so impressive, just her whole high school career. She has a very easy chance of you know, going beyond any controversy today. I think she could easily, you know, come up with those points. So it's really, really exciting to see this happen on this day.
Well, if she can get 29 or more points, it will happen again. I can see they took down the banner too, so they're ready to put this behind. But before they do that, they got to face St. Paul Central before they prepare for their section games, and Central's no slouch. They're not the team that they were last year, the year before, but they came up with a big win against Osseo a few weeks ago, so they can win against the top teams in 4A.
Most definitely, and you know, Central's not just going to lay down and let Tayler score 29 points, so it's going to be a tough battle out there. You know, Central's not the same team, but you have to remember, a lot of these young girls were on the state teams for the past 3-4 years, so you still got a great bunch of girls coming up.
Central looking to three-peat, something no school has ever done in Class 4A. And now let's go to the keys to the game. We'll start with the visiting St. Paul Central Minutemen. First, they need to handle the full court press. South is not a big team. They're a full court press team, and they are one of the fastest teams around. Central has to be ready to handle that. Second, they need to keep the other players at bay, specifically the support options for Tayler Hill. I talked to Willie Taylor. I've talked to other people. The thing that South has, not only do they have Tayler Hill, they have the best perimeter shooting team, if not one of the best perimeter shooting teams around, so they have to make sure those other players don't start lighting up from behind the arc. And finally, they can't overplay themselves. They're coming off a back-to-back. They played Como Park last night due to inclement weather that postponed the game, so they didn't have a chance to prepare themselves. But because they're playing into sectional games where they're going to be facing likely White Bear Lake and Woodbury, they can't run out of gas now as they prepare for the tough teams later on. Tracy, what does South need to do?
You know, I think South really just needs to play team basketball. I mean, we know that Taylor's going to do her thing, but they really need to, you know, attack the paint with speed. They have a lot of that speed. They really need to get on the boards. They're not a big team. Central does have a taller player in Katavia Jones, so they really need to focus on rebounding the basketball.
A big rivalry and a big tune-up before section starts. Who will come out on top this year? Stick around to find out.
Now it's time for the starting lineups. We'll begin with the visiting St. Paul Central Minutemen. For Central, the starting five is Kiana Johnson at guard, Sierra Taylor at guard, Jen Vontae Hill at forward, Samantha Robinson-Rich at forward, and Katavia Jones at center. Sierra Taylor has done a great job carrying the team this year, leading the St. Paul City Conference in rebounds and steals, second in the conference in scoring. She's, of course, heading to Iowa. The starting five for Minneapolis South, also nothing new if you've been following us this season. It's Tayler Hill at forward, Taisha Smith at guard, Amisha Kearney at guard, Sadika Jihad at guard, and Mallory Kramer at forward. We've talked a lot about Tayler Hill today in the open, and this is why. Since she started playing at South, South is 133-15. She has scored double digits in all but 2 of her games. South wearing their familiar black jerseys, Central wearing their whites. In our last game of the season, we'll rejoin you in the state tournament in mid-March, and then you'll see us again at the All-Star Series at St. Thomas in April. But before that, let's get this game underway and end the books. The Central cheerleaders are here. Tip off, the clash of titans has begun. Central on the fast break. Kiana Johnson saves the ball. Pump fakes. Shoots above Kearney, but Jahaba no good. Robinson Ricks with the rebound, short. Kearney picks it up, and South will back off. Both teams like to run the full court press, so expect an up-tempo, fast-paced game today. Hill in the paint, in and out. Kearney with the rebound, no good. Hill picks it up, and South keeps possession.
You can see how physical it is right off the bat. This is going to be a really tough game.
Central looks like they're playing box and one. Hill up the middle, still no good. And Central will take possession. South starting a little cold, but you know with Tayler Hill, when she catches fire, look out.
Oh yeah, she's just wiping the dust off right now.
We'll be keeping an eye on her score throughout the game. This steal by Hill. Loses the handle and is picked up by her cousin, Genvante. Jahat pokes it away. Central will keep possession. The crowd is certainly noisy. South playing a man. Taylor for 3. Bullseye! St. Paul Central gets on the board.
What a treat it is to have Tayler Taylor and Tayler Hill actually guarding each other in this game.
They played against each other before, but back in previous games they had more support options. Central, of course, winning the last 2 state titles. Sadika Jahad for the answer. No good. Last touch by Robinson Ricks. South will take possession. But going off what you said, Taylor and Hill are the top players on both teams, so now they're going to be matching up against each other. Kearney can't get the basket, but she gets her own rebound. Hill, NBA range, bullseye! She has that range. She now needs 26. And she's going for the steal. You know she's coming to play.
Absolutely, she is, and she made that 3 look so easy from such a far range.
She's done that all season. Taylor in the corner for the answer. No good. Hill with the rebound. She might try to squeeze through the hole. Spins around. Tough shot, no good. Taylor picks it up. Central has numbers. Robinson Ricks on the left side. No good. Gets her own rebound. Traveling violation. She jumped up, came back down, and she used up her steps.
The number of layups missed already in this game is amazing. But that's what happens when you come out and you're both teams so excited. You know, they just need to settle down a little bit.
I will not expect the mercy rule to come into effect today. Smith. Out to Kearney. South resetting. Central still in the box and one. Turnover by Minneapolis South. Central will take possession.
Yeah, that was just a really tough pass.
And Both teams are familiar with it because Central gets these box and ones as well because of Thierra's abilities. And so the real thing is going to be what these two can, what kind of ingenuity as Jihad picks up the steal, what kind of intuition these two teams can show. Kearney, tough shot, short, gets her own rebound. And Jihad wrestles it away, and she's going to get fouled by Robinson Ricks. That's our first foul of the game.
And I hate to say it in the first foul of the game, but it looked a little bit of frustration on Sam's part.
This point of the season, you can't afford frustration fouls. I know emotions can run high, but there's still a lot of game left.
Both teams are playing really good defense, getting a lot of deflections, getting a lot of hands on the ball.
Jatavia Jones back in, replacing Maya Cyrus. Still a lot of game left. Kearney, it's blocked by Genvante Hill. Kramer with the cross-court pass gave Hill enough time to block the shot, and the Central fans are loving it.
Well, I guess if we didn't know Central was in the building, we know now.
No, that's the risk you run with cross-court passes. You give that defense time to set up. Hill for three again. Short. Jihad wrestles it, gets the rebound. Kearney, she wants the three. No good. And now Johnson's open on the other end, but she's going to kick out to Robinson Ricks. From behind the arc, smash! 6-3, St. Paul Central.
Sam has such a beautiful shot.
All the baskets so far have been three-pointers. Both teams shutting each other down from inside. Taylor tried to get the steal off Hill. Jihad wants the three, no good. Johnson with the rebound. At some point, both these teams are going to have to try to get inside. Smith pickpockets the pass, and Johnson's going to get the foul. Smith, one of the state leaders in steals last season. Her role's been a little bit muted this year, but she still can pickpocket that ball with her speed.
Yes, she can. She is so quick with those hands.
Averaging 4.3 steals a game this year. Her height also works to her advantage. She's listed around 5'1" to 5'3", so she can be hard to catch. Kramer can't get the bounce. Genvante Hill is blocked, and that's Megan Tate, no good. Hill picks it up. Out to Smith. Smith will try to get around Hill. Tough layup, no good. Jihad throws it out. Hill picks it up. Not a lot of offense yet. Hill, someone get a finger on it? Doesn't matter, bullseye! 6 points for Hill. 23 away. And a timeout by Central. We're tied up at 6 apiece with 12:44 to go. Oh my goodness.
What a start to this game.
They keep this up, I'm going to lose my voice.
I think you might by the end of the game.
Well, that's okay because I've got some time to recover it before the state tournament, which is next on our schedule. Well, throughout the game, we're going to show you some interviews, and at halftime as well. I had a chance to speak with Tierra Taylor and Tayler Hill before the game, so we'll show you snippets of that throughout the game, through timeouts and at halftime. And I also had the chance to speak with a couple of special guests who are here in attendance today. You'll have to stay tuned to find out who.
There's always lots of stars in the crowd during the Twin Cities game. Well, you know, typically, Mike, you don't have to go out to 2 and 3 feet behind the three-point line to guard, but if you're guarding Tayler Hill, you better get out there.
She has shown her NBA range, draining 2 from behind that range so far. And still, no 2-point baskets. Taylor trips up. And Johnson saves it. Off Kearney.
We have yet to see either team really run any kind of offense, so this might be our first look at an offensive set here on this end.
You see South still in there, man. Taylor takes the three, bullseye!
Now that had to be about 3 feet behind the three-point line.
5 3-point baskets. I'm still waiting for our first layup or our first two-pointer. But Taylor, she just stood there and she decided, hey, I'm open, I'll take it.
That's right, beautiful shot by Thierra.
Maybe she took a page out of Ashley's book. Kearney hesitates, foul, and Central's not happy with it. I'm referring to Minnesota's victory over Iowa at home this season. Ashley was open from the top of the key. They left her there, and she decided, you know what, I'm going to take the three. Maybe Taylor picked up something from that. She happened to be at that game.
Yeah, you're right, she was.
Ashley Ellis-Milan in attendance today.
And the crowd a little bit upset on that one. It was just a late call by the official.
Well, as we mentioned before the game started, these fans do not like each other. The players do, the fans don't. Kramer, 2. And she gets the bounce. A mid-range jumper, that's the first two-pointer of the game. And someone's picking up on my stat keeping. Johnson to Hill. Hill crashes into her cousin, and Hill's going to get called for the blocking foul. Tayler Hill, that is. I talked to Genvante and I talked to Taylor, and these two were excited to play each other, being related, being cousins. As Taylor gets ready to play college and Genvante has a few more years left.
Right.
That's Cyrus for 3, too strong. Robinson Ricks gets the rebound, but she can't get enough on that putback, and Tayler Hill with the rebound. For 3 again. Not this time.
You know,
possession will stay with South.
Mike, it's amazing. The layups are supposed to be the high percentage shots, but those are the ones being missed in this game.
And Central will take possession after the referees have to have a conference, but you're right. The layups are supposed to be the high percentage shots, and instead it's the three-pointers that are falling. Well, South has dealt with this before. Catavia Jones is going to get fouled by Hill, and she's going to the line. And I was saying earlier, Roosevelt had South down by 1 at halftime in their game last week before South pulled away. Catavia Jones going to the line. She is a 59% free throw shooter, 10 of 17 on the season. And she can't get the first.
Catavia is one of those players that have just really worked hard. She's improved so much.
Well, it helps she got quite a bit of playing time this year, but she can't get those free throws. As she was the big post player for Central this year. Smith out to Kearney, or to Jihad, now to Kearney. A foul on Genvante Hill. That's going to be a push. And it's not just the college players who are showing up. Well, Megan Howard's also here too. She plays at Division II St. Anselm. As expected, you see a lot of other high school players here in today's game. I saw a couple Roosevelt players checking out the action. Kearney muscles her way through. Again, the layup's not falling. And she can't get the foul. There was no contact, though. At least I didn't see it. And now Central fans want it. And there's going to be a foul on South.
Well, this will be interesting to see who they call it on.
It's on Jihad. That's a big sigh of relief for Hill. She's already sitting with 2. 10:02 to go in the first, and it's 9-8. And we've got a timeout on South. So while South calls a timeout, we'll go you to our first snippet of the day. Hey, with Tayler Hill. Here it is.
I'm here with Minneapolis South player Tayler Hill. And Tayler, the end of the season, end of the regular season, you've got the toughest section coming up. But first you got to get to the Twin Cities game. So what are you going to do today to help you get set up for the toughest section in the state?
I think our team's been doing well, and our coach has been preparing us to play the best of our ability. We've been practicing hard. Every 6 a.m. we've been going hard. Our assistant coaches, Coach Jimmy's been in there practicing with us. So I think we got a boost in that. I think today is going to be a good lesson because Central has a really good team. They got good players, good coaches. So it would be a test for us and a challenge for us to get to the next level.
Now, at our last game, we covered Central Osseo. I spoke with your cousin who was eagerly looking forward to playing against you, and now that's a reality today. So now I want to get your side of it. What will it mean to play against a cousin who's starting out? This is her first year in a high school jersey as you prepare to close your career in your high school jersey.
It's going to be fun. I'm excited for my little cousin. She's going to be a great player. The more she keeps playing, that's who you're going to be interviewing in the long run. She's worked hard, so I'm proud of her.
It's time. And Smith is one-on-one. She's got the speed to get around Hill. But Hill just runs off and leaves Smith open in the lane.
Finally, we get a made layup.
Hill just ran off. It looked like she was running off to Minnesota. Maybe she wants to get there early. And now Kramer pickpockets it. Smith stops, pops, in and out. Hill picks up the rebound. 2-on-2. And a foul on South. And it looks like they're going to put it's on Smith, and they're going to call that in the act of shooting. So that will send Javante Hill to the line. Hill this year, the most attempts of any player on the team. She's 72 of 143. 50% gets her first. She has this pattern where she usually makes the first and misses the second. Gabrielle Roberts and Jenny Hooley step in for South. Hooley, ironically, a team's three-point specialist. Not that South has plenty of those this year. And Roberts now coming off the bench. And she gets the rebound. And Roberts and Riggs tried to pick it off, but no one else was there to pick up the ball. Hill going to Kearney. In trouble, goes to Hooley from the corner. Too strong, halfway through. It's only 10-10. And a carrying violation on Javante Hill.
She's really, really trying to push the ball. Every time she gets it, she's gone. That's a good sign. Willie Taylor's probably happy about that. But it's interesting, Central knows that South is so much faster and quicker than them that they haven't been putting on a full court press.
That was one of the keys to the game, handle the full court press. And I think both teams are well versed in that kind of offense. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? NBA range three again for Hill. She is 20 points away.
So I think that's number 3. And as I said before, if you're guarding Tayler Hill, you have to get out. I don't care if she's at half court. You better get out there and guard her.
Hill, that's for 2. In and out. South takes their first lead of the game, by the way, with that three-pointer. Hill calling for it. She's going to try a 2 this time. Oh, she hasn't gotten those to fall yet. Now Javante Hill. That's going to be a blocking foul on Roberts. That's her first. South has the advantage of a deeper bench than Central does, so if South has any players that get into foul trouble, they have a couple players on the bench that can step in. Central doesn't quite have that luxury.
And that is a luxury, that's for sure.
Javante Hill back at the line. She was 1 of 2 on her first trip. And she misses the first. And I've got a feeling Willie Taylor will work on her free throw shooting in the years to come to try to get it above 50%.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a part of the game that you have to master. There's no question.
Well, your daughter knows all about that, doesn't she?
She's usually pretty good. This year she's been struggling just a little bit.
I didn't say that to... Uh-oh! Are you kidding me? Oh, my goodness! That That was an NBA range three. That was a three from another state.
You know, I just don't know how many times she's going to shoot from there to make Central realize they got to come out there and guard her.
You get to the point where those types of shots become undefendable. But I was saying, I wasn't criticizing your daughter, but your daughter did quite well as a free throw shooter in her high school
yeah,
days.
she was.
She's a freshman too. Still pick up. I think she shoots in the mid-60s, but she's got a long ways to go.
Yeah, you're right. In high school, she definitely shot free throws very well.
It's a different type of environment when you go to college, and it doesn't matter whoever goes in there. It's always different because bigger courts. You've got the Big Ten network televising just about every one of your games, and if it's not, it's online. It's a different environment.
Yes, it is.
No, I'm not going to criticize the Gophers. I'm not them, so not in this forum. I'll talk about them if you'd like, but this is not the place to criticize. South continuing their man.
And Coach Jihad is just telling them to get up on them. He wants really them to put pressure on the ball.
And it works. Robinson Rich throws it away. Hill picks it up. Smith wants in on the action. Bullseye! St. Paul Central takes timeout. It's raining threes from Minneapolis South.
Exactly, and you can see they're up by 9. It does not take long for you to pull away in a game when you're dropping threes like that.
Especially with Central not being able to respond right now. But we all know what happened in previous games. South beat them in their regular season games last year, but Central didn't show all their cards. And we all know what happened at the state tournament final. Hill has held to 9 points, only the second time in her career she did not score double digits, as Central went on to win the Class 4A title 49-44. But the lore from previous years, you've got those 2 wins that South had last season. Central won both matches in the 06-07 season when Central had their 32-0 team. So while Central's been winning the big games, if you look at it in terms of record, it's been going back and forth for the last few years.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, and that's what's fun about the Twin City game. I mean, that's what you get, the best of both cities, you know, both teams carrying the lead and the title at times. That's what it's all about. What is nice is that both teams really came to play today. Sometimes in Twin City games, you see a little bit or a lot of offense, not a lot of defense.
Would you expect anything less from these two?
No, absolutely not. This is a great battle right here.
Still a long way to go.
South backed up their press a little bit.
Here come the full court press. Taylor is open. Did someone do something to the lane? I wonder if they did something to get the ball to not go in or something. Maybe they put some sort of magnet or...
It is amazing how many shots have been in and out on both baskets.
Perhaps they rigged the rim or to do... They slicked up the rim, perhaps? I'd like to know what's going on. There's a lot of things that have left people confused, particularly with Hill's scoring discrepancy. I mean, that story's become just as confusing as the Senate recount trial.
Yes, it has.
And that's in its 5th week. Central throws it away. Recount trial is in its 5th week. I just hope it doesn't take that long to figure out how many points Hill will end her career with.
I don't think so. I think the Minnesota State High School League will get on top of it and get it figured out.
Well, they're in the middle of busy mode right now with state tournaments. They've got the girls hockey and gymnastics tournaments going on now. Holy bullseye! The 3-point shot continues to be South's strength so far. Foul on South. And it's going to go against Roberts. No, Kearney. It's on Kearney. That is her second. South is out of fouls to give.
This is an important possession for Central. They really need to I wanted to wait. I was going to see if Sam was going to knock that down.
Not that time.
They needed to score on that possession before this gets out of hand.
Especially with that girl playing, although her 2-point shots aren't falling. If they start falling, though, in the second half, she might get that record before too long.
Well, and the thing of it is that they should go out and contest her shot. You know, and if she's going to drive to the basket, they have to know they have help.
Roberts will get called for the blocking foul. Tiara Taylor will go to the line. Tiara Taylor improved significantly this season from the free throw line. She is shooting 73%, 72 of 99. Last year she shot in the mid-60s. Taylor, of course, the future Iowa Hawkeye. I jinxed her. I need to stop doing that.
All announcers do that, Mike.
All announcers do that. I hope you're right. Like every time I bring up the free throw shots, they always miss. And it happens again. But Robinson, she can't clean it up. Gets her own rebound. No foul. That's one of Central's weaknesses this season. They have trouble getting those offensive rebounds and turning them into points. Smith, tough shot. Roberts fights the ball, and now Jihad creates some space. Roberts long two, no good. Foul, and the ball's gonna go to South. I thought we might have had a foul, but...
Yeah, Catavia stepped on the line.
Indeed.
That's a tough break for Central.
Well, again, they're coming off a back-to-back game. Now Hill's being contested. Gets some space. Oh, my goodness! That's the fifth. Is that her fifth? She has 12. And Smith nearly gets the steal, but she steps out of bounds. All four of Hill's three-pointers have been from way deep.
You know, Mike, I just can't understand why Central doesn't get out there and guard her. How many times has she got to prove to them that she can knock that down?
Well, Robinson Ricks got in there, and then Hill backed off and then almost just lulled her to sleep. Now she wants the answer. Bullseye! Well, that has to help her cause. You get the three-pointer after that last defensive possession. That should help get her psyche back in action. Smith. Ball stolen by Robinson Rich, but she throws it away to Hill. And we're going the other way.
Central's got to take care of the ball.
And a foul. It's on Johnson. That Central still has one more to give. But it's interesting when Hill goes inside, perhaps she's proven she can hit those threes, but when she goes inside, she's struggled, and perhaps that's why they might be giving her that space, because they don't expect her to be an inside threat at this point.
Right.
And now Genvante Hill's going to get called for the foul. That will be her second. And now Central's out of fouls to give.
You know, Central just has to settle down and really, really play smart right here. They're just making unnecessary fouls.
4:03 to go in the first, and as one of my colleagues points out, the last 4 minutes is when strange things can happen in the high school level. That colleague, of course, is Broderick Bell. He's not with us today, but he's assistant coach of the Humboldt boys team. Hill is going to keep on trying. The inside shot still not working, but Smith picks it up. And Smith is going to get called for a traveling violation. No foul, and Central finally catches a break.
It's a very, very physical game.
It's aggressive and not quite as high scoring as some people might have thought. But South can play those games. Taylor, long three, bullseye! The three seems to be the only thing that's falling today.
Boy, both Taylors are on fire today.
Taylor has 9 points, Hill has 12. And now Central fans are getting into it. They sense some life. And Hill saves it. She's not gonna give up until she gets a basket, but it's still not working for her. And then we have a scramble for the ball, and it's last touch by South, so Central will get possession. Interesting for Hill that she's had some problems today from inside. I don't have her shooting stats with, but she's still putting up 12 points, so even when her stat would be a great day for other players. South continuing their man. Johnson for three, no. Hill with the rebound. And she's backing off. We are getting close to 2 minutes. And Central looks like a box and one again. And Gianna Johnson gets the steal. Kramer threw right to her. Johnson stops, pops, no good. Hill, no. She gets the foul. She's going to go to the line. She hasn't done well so far, though, just 1 of 4. The foul will be Hooley's first.
Yeah, Central is having such a hard time. When they get to the line, they really got to make it count.
Well, Central altogether, 1 of 6 from the free throw line. That's a lot of missed points. 1 of 7. One of 8. Now missed points could come back to haunt them. South has yet to go to the free throw line. Hill for 3 again. Bullseye! 15 points for Hill. She's not doing well inside, but she's on fire outside.
Yes, she is.
She's past the halfway mark to that record. Central might be holding for the final shot.
And that one was even a little contested.
And South pickpockets it away. Hill is broken away. Will she finally get that layup? No,
Oh.
but she gets her own rebound. And she's going to the line.
How amazing is that?
Taylor.
We need to have that stat, Mike. How many layups that they've missed? Well, Taylor alone. That's amazing.
Well, Tayler Hill's going to the line. She is a 76% free throw shooter on the season. She does happen to lead the team in rebounds, averaging over 7 a game, so she's improved quite a bit. And she gets the first. Tayler Hill coming in today, averaging 31.7 points per game. Second in the state this season in scoring. As of now, second on the all-time scoring list. The only Class 4A player to break 3,000. Hill gets the second one to fall, so she has 17, and South is up by nearly a 2-to-1 advantage.
You know, I think Central just needs to get an easy bucket right here. They just need to take care of the basketball, get it easy too.
You wonder how much the weather affected their game, because they were supposed to prepare for South today, but instead they had to play Como Park yesterday.
Yeah, that was a tough break for them. You know, you take away a day of preparation where you're going to kind of get your game plan together, and then instead you're turning around having to play another game.
I'm sure they want to have a word with Mother Nature at the end of this season, perhaps today. But there's still another half to play, so Central's not out of this yet, but they can't mess around.
No, they're definitely not, but they really need to get some points right here.
Central's going to hold for the final shot. Ten seconds. Robinson Ricks is open. No good. South may have enough time for a shot. I don't think it's going to happen, though. Nope, they're going to run out of time. And that will end the first half. A low-scoring first half, but Tayler Hill doing her part. She has more points by herself than Central does altogether. South goes into the locker room leading 30-16. We'll see you at the flip side of the second half.
Now, last week there was Insight News that grabbed a picture of you with everything going on, and you were wearing a Texas sweatshirt, but I know you haven't made up your mind yet, but what factor, as far as colleges, but what have you been considering? Because I also heard you're looking to go into a pediatrics or some sort of pre-med major, so what are you considering as you narrow down your list of college selections?
School is important. I just had the sweater on, happened to have the sweater on that day when I went in for the interview. But it didn't really mean much. Texas is still in my top, but schools, I have to have good chemistry with the coaches and the players because that's what I'm going to be around. And pre-med, that's where I want to go. So,
what fascinates you about the pre-med major or the pre-med field? Because I'm guessing a lot of folks don't talk to you about that.
No, pre-med, I come from a big family, so like I always want to help the sick kids. It's important to help sick kids because you never realize how blessed you are until you get around the kids that are in the hospital every day or in and out the hospital.
Yeah, that is a big deal. There's still some uncertainty about what could happen. There's obviously the playoffs, and then there's the possibility of a state tournament run, but whatever happens, when you look back and hang up your high school jersey one last time, what will you take with you from South to wherever college you're going to, and what will you hope people remember you for as you leave South High School?
I think people remember me as one of the great basketball players came out of the state of Minnesota, but I also want them to remember me as that I'm a funny person, that I'm approachable. But South, my teammates are amazing. They're super funny, and my coaches are great. So.
Now, because of what you've done quite a bit. Your list of accomplishments is probably longer than most people, certainly longer than mine, but you've also dealt with a lot of distractions over the years. You've had that thing last year, the state tournament. There's been a lot of distractions this year, and then everything about what college you're going to, and on and on and on. I mean, that list just keeps growing. It's almost like you're in the news every day. So how have you handled all these distractions, and how do you think that will help when you go to Division I college, because you're going to be getting a lot of media exposure wherever you end up going?
I think the distractions are a good thing because there's always not going to be positive about you, so you got to learn how to take negative and positive. And I think the negative things that came out with the support of my teammates and my coaches and family, it wasn't just me handling it, but I think that wherever you go, you're always going to have haters and you're always going to have people that don't want to see you succeed. So that just makes me want to be a better person and prove them wrong.
What would you want to say to your teammates who are speaking about that? Because you've hung around with them quite a bit, and I see you guys at stick around together in road games and things like that. What would you say to your team as you go? What advice would you give them as they get ready to play without you?
I just tell them to keep staying together. Team chemistry is important, and that over the years they're going to learn how to lose and win together. But if they stay together, then they'll be fine. I mean, next year and the year after that and years to come, they're still going to be the best around. So they'll be fine without me.
Well, we'll see what happens. When you finally decide on a school, what's going to be the feeling that's going through your mind, knowing that everything, all the distractions, all this publicity, it finally comes to an end as far as the uncertainty?
It's just going to take a relief off my shoulders. It's going to be a load lifted off, so I'll be happy about that.
And anything for yourself, what do you hope to learn as being a college player when you go there? What do you hope to learn when you start the collegiate level?
I'm ready to just get to the next level. I'm ready to be pushed from other players at different colleges, from my coaches, from my teammates. So I'm ready to get to the next level and pursue my career. And I want to grow up to be a young woman. So
I almost forgot to mention this, but first of all, congratulations on being a McDonald's All-American.
Thank you.
And that means you're going to get to play in the girls' McDonald's All-American game in April. Tell me, what is the feeling being the only Minnesota player to represent the states, and then also getting a play with not just the best players in the state, but the best in the nation?
I I think it's a great accomplishment. Like I said, without God, I wouldn't be here, but without the support of everybody, I wouldn't be here. But I think it's a great accomplishment. I mean, to be the first girls person to go or one of the first to go, I think that's great. So I'm just going down there to rep our state.
So what are you expecting or looking forward to as you get to play in the national spotlight for the first time?
Well, it's not really the first time, but I know all the girls that's going down there just from USA camps and traveling to AAU ball, so it'll be fun because it'll be like a big reunion again.
Well, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun as you start the swan song part of your career with I imagine with all the all-star games you're going to get to play and get that transition from high school to college. And I guess lastly, I want to put you on the soapbox if there's anything you want to say to the teammates about, to your coaches, about the fans, the players, even if you want to rip on me if you want. What do you have to say?
No, I thank you guys for just all the support you guys have given over the years, but my team is ready. We've been working hard, so I'm looking forward to sections this day.
Well, it's going to be a great game, and I'm sure it's going to be a fun, and I'm sure you're going to have a blast playing against your cousin.
Yeah, I am.
Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with us, and good luck with today's game and throughout the playoffs.
Thank you.
Tayler Hill, Minneapolis South.
Welcome back to high school girls basketball. Keystone Productions proudly presents the Twin Cities Championship game featuring St. Paul Central and Minneapolis South. Let's take a look at our in-game box score from the first half, and this is quite unusual. It's a pretty small list. For St. Paul Central, only 3 players are on the board. Tayler with 9, Robinson Ricks with 6, and Genvante Hill with 1 on a free throw. She is 1 of 6 on the free throw line. Central as a team, 1 of 10. They really got to get their act together from the free throw line if they want to get them back into this game. For South, not as diverse either, but Tayler Hill, despite her shooting woes up inside, she has 20 points. Taisha Smith has 5, Jenny Hooley has 3, Mallory Kramer has 2. Only twice has South made an inside basket. And the bigger number, Hill, 9 points away from breaking the record once and for all.
And I think this crowd is going to go crazy when that happens. It's almost inevitable at this point, I think.
Unless something strange happens to Hill, but we've talked about, even though Hill only put up 9 in the last one, as some players from North are getting into the old school music with their coach, Faith Johnson-Patterson. Hill put up 31 points and 27 points in the regular season games last season, so she can put up big numbers against the crosstown rival.
Yes, she can.
I'd like to remind you, if you'd like to order a DVD copy of this and any other game we've televised this season, please visit us online at www.keystoneprod.com. That's KeystoneProd, Prod.com. All games available in the widescreen format. Please visit Keystone Productions online to order your copy of high school girls basketball. Central wearing white, South wearing black. Original 5 on the floor for both teams. And some players, they got to get out of the way here for a second. But Kramer starts off by getting an inside basket, and South is up by 16.
And I don't think that's how Willie Tayler wanted his team to start off the second half.
All eyes are on Hill's point total, though. Kearney, 2 quick buckets for Minneapolis South, and now other players are finally starting to join the fray. Kearney finally gets on the scoreboard, and Central will have to answer quickly, and that's not the way to do it. But Tayler gets her own rebound. No good. Katavia Jones going to the line. She didn't do well in their first trip, though. And the foul is on Kearney. That is her 3rd.
Looks like Coach DeHead is leaving her in.
We talked about in the first half, South does have that deeper bench, so they're not as concerned about players getting in foul trouble as Central is. And Katavia Jones finally gets on the board, getting 1 of 2, but that's not going to do much to cut the lead if Central's looking to win this game. Hill scored 20 in the first, 9 points away. Up, no good. And the possession will go to Central as it went off Tayler Hill. Hill still struggling from inside.
And as we've seen in that last set, it looks like South is really trying to slow the game down.
And we're going to have a reach-in foul on South. Depends on who made contact. It's Jihad. That's her second. So 2 quick fouls for Minneapolis South.
Well, Genvante really knows how to use her body when she's dribbling.
And the best part is she's only a freshman. So she's going to have plenty of time to develop her. And Robinson Rich for 3. Can't get the bounce. And when you've got a name like Hill, you know you've got some basketball skills. Taisha Smith's going to go to the line.
And Taisha Smith just went coast to coast after getting the rebound, being the smallest player in the middle of the pack.
Smallest but the fastest.
Exactly.
I wouldn't even want her near me.
So she shot out of there like a cannon.
I wouldn't want her even near me. She'd take something from me and I wouldn't even notice. By the time I looked, she would be gone.
Right.
She goes to the line, misses her first. On the season, she is 58 of 87 for 67% from the line. She'll be a senior next year. Short. And Smith goes over to Genvante Hill with the board. Deflected by South. Central will keep possession. 16-16 to go in the second. Brianna Reeves stepping in for St. Paul Central, replacing Katavia Jones. South continuing the man, it appears. Taylor is going to get called for the charge. Kramer draws it.
That's a tough break for Central. Thayer just turned and happened to turn right into her.
And the foul is going to go against Taylor. That is her first, but Central needs to start stepping up. Hill, she's not going to give up, and she finally gets one from inside. That gives her 22. Timeout, St. Paul Central. And speaking of timeouts, we'll go to De'Ara Taylor since Central's calling a timeout. Show you a snippet of her interview, and here it is.
I'm here with St. Paul Central's De'Ara Taylor. De'Ara, this is your final regular season game before playoff action, and you had to play Como Park last night because of a snowstorm, so you weren't able to practice and prepare for South. So what have you done to make up for the weather this week?
Well, this morning we had a small shoot around and we went over a couple things. We weren't able to get in a full, practice, but we went over what we think we need to know.
On the other end, this is a team you've played many, many times, in fact 5 times going back the last couple seasons, and you're well aware of the lore. So what will this game mean in the Central-South rivalry?
This is always a big game. This is our first time playing them. Usually we play them 2 or 3 times before state, but it's our first time. I'm excited. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I know one thing's going to happen. You're going to play 36 minutes. That's
Oh, yeah.
So Central has dealt with a little more adversity than they did last year. It's not necessarily with distractions or anything like that, but with players and depth of the bench and other things. So what have you learned this year carrying the team as opposed to last year where you had a lot of players to back you up?
Well, this year, the players that know they're not going to play, they're not on the bench pouting or anything. So we can get support from our bench. And Coach Taylor lets them know where they stand. So we have a good season the whole way through.
Taylor to Reeves. Reeves gets pickpocketed by Smith. Smith one-on-one. Will she go coast to coast again? Can't complete it. And the fight for the rebound goes to Kearney. Hill pump fakes. Mid-long 2, no good. And Taylor picks up the rebound. NBA 3, not this time. Kramer with the rebound. She finds Hill. Hill decides to back off from the double team. Interestingly, we have Central cheerleaders, but no South cheerleaders in attendance. And we've got a foul on Central, blocking foul.
That is very, very interesting. I'm surprised I didn't notice that before, but being at the home school, you would think that the South cheerleaders would be here.
If there are any. I'm not sure if there is or not, but I'm not here to report on the cheerleaders.
Well, St. Paul Central always has a good cheerleading squad. I know that, so.
And this is coming from a guy who will notice just about anything and everything that shows up. Smith wants a three. Drives to the lane. No good. And the possession will stay with South. Substitution, Robinson Ricks coming back in, replacing Kiana Johnson.
And I know that Central usually plays a good matchup zone. We
have an offensive foul or it is an offensive foul on Kramer. I didn't see it. She must have made contact.
I didn't see it either. Yeah.
We'll take a look, see if we can get that on replay for you, but she must have made contact while taking away that pass.
I was going to say that I'm surprised that Central was sitting back in that matchup zone. You know, I would think they would be up, putting more pressure on them, trying to get back in this game.
Well, one theory I have for that is Javante Hill goes in and out. Central's just not doing well today shooting. My theory is either Central's fatigued or they're not showing all their cards, or a combination of the two, because they didn't show all their cards in the first two games against South last season. Willie Taylor does like to play possum as a coach. Kearney for three. In and out. Rebound, Robinson Ricks.
I just think that the way that South is shooting the three today, you know, you wouldn't want to sit back in a zone.
Robinson Ricks for three. Well off. Reeves can't clean it up. Robinson Ricks. Third time is a charm.
Maybe it's that basket in the layups that's so hard to come by.
She has 8, but Central still has yet to get a player in double figures. Hill could be looking for that three, but instead goes to Jihad. She said in her mind when she broke the record last week, Taylor with the steal. I'll get to that point in a second. Taylor waves around, takes it coast to coast. And now we have a timeout.
Very nice hesitation move by Thierra.
Thierra becomes the first Central player to break double digits. And I was saying, Taylor Hill said in her mind she broke the record last Tuesday against Roosevelt, but when she put up 38 points, she put up against Southwest on Thursday, and 20 points here in the first half, you have to wonder if she's thinking about it.
I'm sure it's definitely have to be on her mind. You know, it's just something that you just can't forget about, you know.
Well, especially given what's happened. I know South isn't happy with the treatment they've been given. They feel like it's just another ploy to try to distract her because she is the best player out there. On the other end, it's as I said before, just as confusing as the Senate recount trial.
Right. But, you know, on the flip side, Taylor's used to the spotlight. You know, she's just playing her game today. I mean, you can tell that she's just relaxed. She's feeling comfortable. She's just feeling her shot today.
Well, I did speak with her, and she told me about the distractions, and she said it was a lot easier for her to get through them with her team support because she is who she is. She's going to get a lot of criticism just because she's as good as she is, and other players wish they could have her skills in some ways.
Most definitely. She's definitely a lot of young girls in Minnesota look up to, that's for sure.
Hill takes the two, and it falls. That was a tough shot. She used the dribble, so she couldn't move, and now she has 24 points. She is 5 points away. Batavia Jones will draw the foul. It's going to go against Kramer. That will be her second.
Central's really got to move the ball on this press. I think that they're trying to dribble and hold on to the ball too much. You break a press, by pushing the ball up the floor, passing it into your open areas.
And it's interesting to see because they did play Como Park. While there is that game mentality, Como Park not exactly, as Maya Cyrus can't get the layup. Como Park not exactly a strong team right now in the St. Paul City Conference. Jump ball, possession arrow, points to Central. They don't even have that up on the scoreboard. They don't have it up on the scoreboard. They have it on the scores table. But Central got possession. But Como Park not exactly a strong team in the St. Paul City Conference. So you'd think Central wouldn't have to use all their effort yesterday. Tayler for three. No. Hill with the board. Going to Kearney.
Here's where some people might want to see the shot clock in the high school game.
I'm sure a lot of teams would like to see it. Except if you're Woodbury, we're going to have a foul on Robinson Ricks. Woodbury might not like it.
And I mean, South is being really smart right here. You know, they got a nice lead. They're just trying to get a nice, easy shot.
The foul is Robinson Ricks' third. She is the only player on Central's roster in foul trouble at this point, and they're going to take out Cyrus and put in Johnson. Smith stops, pops, no good. Roberts with the rebound, and she cleans up the mess. South has been aggressive on the boards, and that was another key to the game today. Foul. It's on Gabrielle. It's an offensive foul. It was on Genvante Hill for the charge. That's her third.
That's a tough break for Central.
Even tougher because Central just has one foul left to give. Megan Tate steps in, replacing Robinson Ricks. And Willie's having a discussion with the officials. Now, as they get things set, the Central has not gone away from their matchup zone. Foul on Genvante Hill. And if it is on Hill, that will be her fourth. And it is. Central's out of fouls to give. Genvante Hill is down to her last foul.
And I just happened to notice Taisha Smith telling Amisha Kearney she's got 4, you need to go at her. Which, you know, is just good basketball IQ. You know, you want to try to get your best player from the opposite team out of the game.
Hill from the corner. Bullseye! Hill's next basket will break the record for good. Tayler. Blocking foul on Roberts. That will be, they don't have her up on the scoreboard yet. That's her second. But South with just one foul left to give, and Robinson Ricks steps back in. She's sitting with 3 fouls, though, as she replaces Genvante Hill, so she can't exactly go at it without a sense of IQ, if you know what I mean.
Right, right.
And just as I say that, Katavia Jones takes call for the offensive foul, tripping up Smith. Because it's a team control foul, South will not shoot free throws, but they are out of fouls to give now.
And the refs are really just trying to control the game the second half. You can tell they're just calling it a little tighter.
Now Central pressing. And then Smith gets across. And a whistle, foul on it's on Tayler Taylor. South is out of fouls to give. That will send Misha Kearney to the free throw line. Kearney today with 2 points for sure. This is her first trip to the line. She's
go ahead.
averaging 10.6 points per game.
I was just going to say, as I said before, you can tell they're just calling it a much tighter game. That foul wouldn't have been called in the first half.
Kearney misses her free throw, though. But Kramer with the steal. Kramer, not a big player in terms of size, but she has turned into the South's defensive specialist this season. She's a 5-sport athlete. Roberts, no good. Central, they've been struggling all day. Taylor, tough shot, no good. And it's going to be a foul. No, a traveling violation. And that was a good call while you're looking at it. Smith didn't make any contact.
It was. The referees today are doing a really, really good job.
Yeah, Tate just fell. Smith did not make any contact or intentional contact. Hill to Smith. All eyes will be watching on Hill. Kearney. Central still in the matchup zone, the box and one. And South just taking their time.
I think they're just going to make Central come out and guard them.
Kramer to Kearney. Kearney for three. No. Roberts picks it up. She throws it up. And she cleans up the mess. That was a tough shot, too. She did not use the backboard at all.
And, I always think that's interesting when the ball touches the top of the backboard. I used to think that was out of bounds.
I think it has to go behind the backboard now. I believe the top of the backboard is still ruled in play, but if it were to hit the scoreboard per se, then it would be ruled out of bounds because the scoreboard is placed, or the shot clock is placed behind.
Right. I have noticed that they haven't been calling that in the last few games that I've saw that.
If it goes behind, it's out of bounds. If it hits the top, I think it's still in play. Hill. Not in any hurry. She's put up just 7 points this half.
Well, this is going to be a long 8 minutes if South does this for the rest of the game.
Kearney drives up. No good. And Kramer picks it up.
And this is kind of what we talked about before the game. Just so critical. Central has to get on the boards if they want to get back in this game.
South with no reason to push it. But Hill gets stripped by Taylor as Tayler Hill was trying to drive. At the area, Taylor no foul. And Robinson Ricks cleans up the mess. Smith broke up her pass, but no one else was there to cover Robinson Ricks. But Central has a long way to go. They might have to regroup for the sectional play. Catavia Jones with the steal. Taylor for three. Bullseye! And Central will take anything right now. Smith, coast to coast short. Roberts with the rebound. Back out to Smith. Smith tries again. And gets the finger roll. Smith coming up alive in the second half.
And there should have been a Central player over on weak side to box her out.
Tate on the other end. Can't get it to fall. Taylor wrestles it. No good.
Oh.
And South will take possession.
Central was actually hitting the boards pretty good on that possession.
Johnson and Reeves coming in, replacing Jones and Tate. 6:43 to go. Smith backs off. Out to Kramer. Kramer's going to go to the line. Mallory Kramer, a 65% free throw shooter this season, 32 of 49. As I mentioned, she's a 5-sport athlete. Has been recruited for rowing of all sports. She's potentially thinking about going to Minnesota and joining the women's rowing team, which is an NCAA sport.
Well, that's something you don't hear every day. And that makes 4 fouls for Sam.
Robinson Ricks. So 2 Central players on the floor with 4 fouls. With 6 minutes to go, Central's in big trouble. Johnson in trouble. No backcourt violation. Taylor did not step on behind the line. And Central's got to move. Well, no foul this time. Jump ball, and possession arrow favors Minneapolis South. Six minutes to go, and Hill has not taken a shot attempt in the last few minutes. She needs 1 to tie, 2 for the record. But the other South players want in on the action too. And Roberts gets it to fall.
You know, Gabby Roberts is just so good on the boards.
Smith tries for the steal, and that leaves Robinson Ricks open, and she drains the 3. Robinson Ricks with 13, but South still up by 20.
Now we have the crowd getting into it.
Smith to Kramer. Robinson Ricks picks it up. Hill going for the steal. Javante Hill, no good. And Smith picks up the rebound. She could take it herself or go to Hill. She's going to go to Hill. Hill wants the record. There it is! There it is! At the end of this day, there will be a new queen in Minnesota high school girls basketball, and that's Tayler Hill.
What a relief to just have that over with, right? That controversy can be put to rest now.
And we have a timeout. I know South put up that banner for Hill as the all-time leading scorer for South in girls basketball history. And what's up with this music?
Yeah, that's really odd. I don't know.
Well, Mark Sanders, he runs the audio board down there. He's also South's athletic director. He likes to have a little bit of fun with the music, playing some unique tunes, so to speak. Although Central...
Oh, that must be South.
They play baseball music, too.
It must be their school song.
Well, it could be.
I see some South fans over there. They seem to be into it, knowing the South song.
Well, Central has some new traditions of their own. At the last game we televised, Central Osseo, they played the Minnesota Rouser of all things. My colleague Broderick Bell didn't like it. He wanted to have the Concordia anthem played. That's where he went to school. I don't know if they have the Grand Rapids Rouser around. Did they have one?
Oh, at Grandview, you mean?
Grandview, not Grand Rapids. What am I thinking? I need a CAT scan at the end of this game.
You know, Mike, that was so long ago. I don't remember. I'm sure we did. We had to, right?
Well, maybe I'll go to their website at the end of this game and find out what it is. I know the Minnesota one by heart, but that's for obvious reasons. Taylor for 3. Bullseye! Well, De'Ara Taylor doing what she can to keep her team in there. She's put up 17 points, but Central looks like they're just going to run out of time.
Yeah, unless they can get a few stops.
Kearney short, and they're keeping Hill in. And the possession will stay with the Tigers.
Trading baskets at this point isn't going to get them anywhere.
This game not as close as I thought it would be today. But then again, Central perhaps having a little fatigue, going off back-to-back, not having time to prepare against South as Roberts gets another basket. She's been racking up the points quietly in this half. Foul on Central.
Anytime you jerk your elbow and the ref was standing right there, they're always going to make that call.
And that's Kiana Johnson's fifth. She is out for the game, but that just underscores how much Central has struggled today. Johnson did not score today either.
Yeah, that's a tough way to go out of the game, that's for sure.
Well, the cheerleaders still having good spirits.
Yes, they are.
This is still a game. Hill going to Kearney. And Reeves with the steal. Taylor picks it up. She fires off another three, but she's short as we enter the last 4 minutes. Kearney up and in. Drives all the way to the lane herself, and you can tell Central's running out of gas.
Well, it's awfully hard. It's awfully hard because we have 2 Central players with 4 fouls, so they can't be very aggressive on the defensive end. It makes it awfully tough to get back into this one.
And that sends Genvante Hill to the line as South is out of fouls to give. But Hill struggling today from the free throw line. She gets her first. She was 1 of 6 in the first half. And they've done a great job of shutting her down. She's usually Central's second player, the Robin to Tiara Taylor's Batman.
Right, I think the fouls really hindered her in the first half.
Well, I'm sure this will be a big learning experience for her, playing against her cousin and playing against the number 3 team in the state in the Max Preps poll. Kearney nearly gets pickpocketed. Hill off the deflection for 3. Not this time. And Tate with the rebound, and she will draw the foul. So that will send Tate to the line. Tate just over 50% a free throw shooter this year, 15 of 29. So looking ahead, as they've got the Twin Cities trophy ready to present to South, what will Central need to do to gear up for sections? Because they have a couple tough opponents, White Bear Lake and Woodbury. They'll likely face White Bear Lake and Woodbury if they can get all the way to the end.
Right, you know, I think that they really need to hit the boards and do a better job rebounding. I mean, when you're a small team, it's really hard to do that. But that's one area that they really need to focus on.
And on the opposite end, as Tate misses a second, South is playing in the toughest section in the state. A lot of fans speculate that whoever wins that section will win the Class 4A state title with Hopkins and Armstrong. That's a toss-up section because South and Hopkins are split on the season. South beat Armstrong earlier this year. Armstrong beat Hopkins earlier this season.
Yeah, it's
Everybody
anybody's game.
is beatable. So
right.
What does South need to do to get past what will likely be Armstrong and Hopkins?
You know, I think South just needs to keep their composure and play their game. You know, they're a running team. They're really fast. Everybody on this team can contribute, not just Taylor. So I think that, you know, they just need to take care of the ball and not get the turnovers, and I think they'll be fine. There's very few teams that can handle that kind of pressure.
We're in stat padding time now. And it looks like I'll be able to hang on to my voice.
You lasted the whole game.
So I'll have time to recuperate and recover for the state tournament. Hill misses. And she may not get her last basket to pass the mark that the historians Kevin Anderson and another man have set for her, but she will likely do that at her next game with her first sectional game of the season. And so now the question doesn't become, is Hill the number one scorer in the state? It becomes, the question is, what will her final total be?
So what have you learned for yourself as you finish up this season and now get ready to don the black and yellow or gold of Iowa?
I just learned to have fun. Like, not everything's so serious. It's still a game of basketball. I want to win, and another team wants to win, and one of us won't win. So just have fun out there.
After this, you'd have to start playing sections where you have to deal with White Bear Lake and Woodbury, and they're no slouches, so that could get in your way of getting to the state tournament for a fourth consecutive year or a fifth consecutive year. And so how are you going to prepare for them, and what will Central have to do to qualify for the state tournament once again?
Well, I've yet to see them play, but looking at our team, we've progressed so much since the beginning of the year, so I think we can do it.
Tell me how the team has progressed. I know that you guys don't get together in the summer, so you often have to catch up during the season with everybody else. So what has your team learned?
People are hitting their jump shots now. They leave some of our players wide open. You can't really do that now because they're going to hit those jump shots.
Now, academically, how will you prepare the transition, and where are you in terms of selecting a major, or what your expectations are as you now go to the college level?
I'm going to go into the field of sports management. I don't know how far in depth I'm going to go with that, but that's where I want to start.
I think she wants my job.
To a goal, but Katie Ohm's numbers still weren't even there until Taylor was within striking distance. So the high school league, not big statisticians, at least online.
Right.
Robinson Ricks for three, no good. And they're keeping Hill in the game. Reeves gets the bounce, but by now it's a moot point. So, I guess a lot of storylines that have really created a lot of bar talk as Hill gets some icing on the cake. And now, that should be 31. They haven't flashed it on the screen yet, but yep, that's 31. So now she's past the historian's mark. So that officially ends that controversy. Tayler Taylor, NBA three, a little icing on the cake for her stat sheet.
I don't know what the deal is, but the range that these kids have is just amazing to me.
The NCAA might want to look at extending that three-point line on the women's side. Jihad, no good. They extended it for the men this year, but not for the women. But after seeing this game, they might want to consider bringing that line out a little bit further.
Well, you know what? I think our two Taylor kids are just special kind of kids. They're the rare exceptions.
Javante Hill gets her first basket of the game. But you're right, two exceptional kids. Tayler Hill hasn't decided yet where she's going to go, but you know she's going to go D1. Tayler Taylor going to Iowa. They're both expected to do big things at their respective schools, and the one thing you hope to see is that they don't succumb to fan negativity. I mean, Tayler Hill's used to it because of where she is. Tayler Taylor, though, not having to put up with as much of it because she's been kind of overshadowed by Hill, but you're going to have critics, and in case of Iowa, sometimes you're not going to have a lot of fans show up. I watched their Indiana game. They only had about 2,500 people. Wherever Hill goes, she's going to be putting up with a lot of scrutiny just from Minnesota fans who will probably expect her to perform right away.
Absolutely. And they're just going to have to go there and work hard and not even think about those things. There's so much on their plate when they get to college that hopefully they won't even have time to think about fan scrutiny.
Well, as Emil Jihad, I talked to him at the beginning of this season, even though he likes that he has a record maker on his team. He said the thing he wants to emphasize most is the kids he's sending to Division I schools. There are 3 in his tenure. And Willie Taylor, will have 5 at the end of this year. Or 4. Yes, 4.
And that's just from Central.
In his tenure. That's saying a lot.
Yes.
So, might be overlooked, and they're just going to let the clock run out. Even though the foul was before the clock, the game was already over, so they just let the clock run out. So South wins the Twin Cities game for the second year in a row, winning 58-42. But again, a big tune-up as both of these schools. Now they reset the clock. They put 1 second on it.
Maybe they're going to let her shoot the free throw.
Yeah. So don't pack up just yet. There's still a couple more. They're going to let Smith shoot the free throws, but again, so now they're going to bring it back out. Well, as I was saying, these two coaches, they may not get as much respect or as publicity as some of the suburban coaches, but these two coaches know how to coach teams.
Absolutely. You know, and their records stand for themselves. The girls that have come out of their programs, you know, I think that speaks for itself right there.
Now, speaking of coaching, your youngest daughter is playing traveling ball now, and what will you expect as she wraps up her season? What have you seen from her?
You know, I've seen amazing things from her. I'm just so proud of her. I'm so impressed with what she's done. We have our grade state tournament coming up this weekend, so we're really excited about that.
Well, Smith made her free throws. That makes the final score 60-42, moot point as it was. And so this is our last game of the regular season. You will see us again at the state tournament. Until then, this is Mike Peden. So long, everybody.
This program was made possible in part by the continuing contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.